Seated. Ms. Gold.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're here on the State of Ohio versus Jacob Sartain, case number 18CR604. The defendant is present with counsel John McFall. We are here today for a hearing on, Kevin McFall. We are here today for a hearing on the defendant's motion for judicial release, which was filed on April 23rd, 2025.
All right, Mr. McFall.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as the court is aware, Mr. Sartain was sentenced on April 25th, 2019 to a term of 6 years on count 1 and 6 years on count 5 concurrent, and I believe there was a 1-year gun spec for a total of 7 years. He was delivered to the institution on May 2nd, 2019. He has been incarcerated for a little over 6 years. I want to point out, Your Honor, at the time of the offense, he was 18 years old, and his life was certainly out of order and out of control. While he was incarcerated, he did participate and complete several programs to help him deal with his addiction as well as his behavioral issues. But unfortunately, while incarcerated, he did get involved in some illegal activity, and I believe apparently it was due to some threats on his health and well-being. He knew it was wrong, but he did engage in it, Your Honor, and unfortunately, he realized this. He made a poor decision, and he certainly regrets it. He did accept responsibility for his actions there, Your Honor, and did plead guilty in Ashtabula County Court, where he did receive a 3 to 4.5 year sentence consecutive to this case. I want to point out, I know that he was punished on this case by serving about 6 years so far. I'm hoping the court feels that that's a sufficient amount of time, that the punishment certainly does fit the crime. Mr. Sartain certainly wants a chance to get his life in order, get this behind him, and get on with his life. I know this, he has tremendous family support, Your Honor. At some point, he will be released, whether it's from, obviously, not this court, but from Ashtabula, and he does have good family support. In light of the fact that he has served 6 years, a little over 6 years, Your Honor, I would ask the court to grant this motion for judicial. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gold.
Thank you, Your Honor. On March 10th, 2025, the defendant was convicted of aggravated possession of drugs, a felony of the 2nd degree, and illegal conveyance of drugs of abuse onto the grounds of a specified governmental facility, a felony of the 2nd degree, and the Ashtabula County Court of Common Pleas. On these charges, he was sentenced to 3 to 4.5 years, and the time being served for the aggravated possession of drugs is mandatory prison time. Because the defendant is facing mandatory prison time in Ashtabula County, should he be released on this case, there would be no opportunity for this court to place him on community control sanctions. As he faces mandatory prison time, the state is opposing this motion.
All right, anything else, Mr. McFall?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, now when we were here back in 19, when I imposed that sentence, I informed Mr. Sartain's counsel that, Mr. Deeb, that I would consider the motion for judicial release at the appropriate time. I know it was filed and withdrawn because it was premature a couple of years ago. And obviously, he's eligible for it as he sits here now. So when it was filed, I ordered the records from the institution, which is what I always do. And I always look at the records. Most time, the records really don't show anything. They'll show a lot of times minor infractions committed within the institution, which are no big deal because you can get those for a lot of things, and they sometimes are pretty petty. But when I looked at your records in the institution, it wasn't petty stuff. There was some serious stuff in there. Some of which was reminding the guards who were dealing with you that you were going to be out in a few years and you'd find them. Okay. But that's bad enough, but that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is that, and I didn't realize this till very recently, is that you were sentenced in Ashtabula for the drug offenses. Felony twos, correct? 2 felony twos?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. One of which has a mandatory sentence of 3 to 4.5 years. So the purpose of judicial release, at least as far as I'm concerned, is to let somebody out before their sentence is complete because they've earned that right. And they've earned that right by conducting themselves the way they're supposed to when they're incarcerated. Now, Mr. McFall talks about programs that you've gotten into, and that's fine, except while you're in prison, you're committing F2s that carry mandatory time. So judicial release, at least as far as I'm concerned, is meant to get somebody out early who's done what they're supposed to do while they're incarcerated, but you haven't done that, which resulted in your 2 felony twos, which, I mean, you got about 6 months left to do here or so, which is the least of your problems with the 3 to 4.5, and it's likely to be, I'm going to deny this motion because it's not appropriate in this case, okay? But you can go back there, and if you want to do 3 instead of 4.5 of that Ashtabula sentence, then you're not going to generate reports like you have so far, okay? Because if you do, they're going to keep you for another 1.5 years, you know, and there ain't a lot you can do about that because that's the range of your sentence. So you still got a long way. You still have a long way to go with your life because you know you're still in your 20s. But if you continue on this road, this is going to be an in and out thing the rest of your life. So you know your brother was here, and your brother, by the time he finished his probation, was a completely different person as I saw it. So. But, you know, in this circumstance, I just, I cannot grant this motion for judicial release. Anything else, Ms. Gold?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFall, anything else?
Your Honor, would it be possible for Mr. Sartain to address the court?
Sure. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I just want to say that, you know, it's been a long time since I stood here, over 6 years, and I know this situation that I had Ashtabula, I pled guilty to. But I just wanted to let it be known to the court, though, that this isn't a situation that I wanted to do, that I was approached by individuals that are a part of gangs, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a gang member. I chose to do everything right. And I know from the record it might not seem like it, but as soon as I got incarcerated, all I've ever wanted to do was to be better and be the person that my parents raised me to be. And, you know, when I got locked up, COVID came. As soon as COVID was over, I wanted to do better. I wanted to be in programming. And I was down there for 5 years. I never went to the hole. I was level 1. I was considered a model inmate until this situation happened. And this situation only happened because I was approached by individuals that, unfortunately, they gave me an ultimatum that I felt like I didn't have a choice when they approached me saying that you have to hold these drugs for us or you have to leave this compound, and it's not going to be going to a different compound. It's going to be in a hospital. My back was against the wall, and my case in 19 was public. It was all over Facebook. It was all the news. So people from down there knew I was from Eastlake. So they knew where I was from, Your Honor. And I did make a mistake. I take full responsibility for it. But I looked at it. I had a choice to make. I either did it and take the chance and risk of not getting caught with this, or do what these people say that's doing 99 years and life in prison and potentially getting myself killed in prison and never making it home to be the man that I know I am and like people my parents raised me to be. I really please consider granting me this judicial release so I can start another time, so I can prove to this court, my community, my family, all the people that love me, that I am the person that I know I am, and I made a mistake when I was young. And I just please reconsider. And it's been a long journey down this road, and I've had my back against the wall. I've been doing everything. I've completed carpentry so that when I get out, I have a plan Saying I've done anger control, so I've ways to control my old ways I used to be. I'm not the person I used to be when I was standing here almost 7 years ago, Your Honor. Please reconsider and just give me a chance.
What do you, I mean, what do you say about the threat against these guards?
But this is the other thing. When that situation happened, they took me and put me in the hole all the way where I couldn't contact anybody. I contacted my brother first on the phone. I said, bro, this is a problem. I need you to call up here. They blocked my communication. That threat to the guard, it was to Isaiah Luttrell. And the exact threat was on my ticket said was, I'm going to get out in a few years. I'm going to come find you. I promised to God. I never said that. What I would have said was, it's okay. I'll be in this hole. My time will keep going where I'm at. I swear to God, I never said that to that man. I would never. I'm not like that. When situations happen with guards, Your Honor, I swear to God, when situations happen with guards, I see people beating up guards. I want to be the one to step in and help them. But unfortunately, the place I'm at, the people I'm surrounded by, I can't because I'm outnumbered. You know what I'm saying?
Where are you at, Lake Erie?
I'm in trouble correctional now. And that's another thing.
Were you in Lake Erie?
I was in Lake Erie for 5 years. I didn't get no trouble with the pettiest tickets. I didn't go to the hole at all, Your Honor. And as soon as I got sent to Trumbull, the people that was at Lake Erie that was holding it thought I was going to snitch on them and tell on them. And I knew I couldn't because I had my family to worry about, myself to worry about. And not even 3 months there, I get 4 people from the same gang come in there, pull knives on me, take all my property. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do. I'm saying I'm trying to do everything I can to make it home to my family. So I let that stuff go. Your Honor, truthfully, 7 years ago, I wouldn't have. I would have did, but I've learned. I've learned from my mistakes. I've done everything that impossibly was inside a prison that allowed me to be the better person. And I can truly say that getting this time from when I was 18, when I got locked up, sentenced when I was 20, it's made me become a better man. I've actually can truly say that I'm rehabilitating within the system. I'm not trying to fall victim of this prison system because this is not me. Your Honor, when I was 18, I graduated high school. I was in Lakeland going to get college credits so I can play football, and that's all I ever wanted to do was just be a better man. And man, my parents raised me to be, Your Honor. This situation in Ashtabula, the only reason I pled guilty to it is because the judge told me, if you don't plead guilty this 3 years, you're going to go to trial, and then you're going to get 11 years. And I can't do that to my mom. I've already missed almost 7 years of her life. And as you can see, she needs me out there. I'm saying, I never threatened no officer. Even in Ashtabula, I told them, I said, I would do the right thing. I can't give no inmates' names because it's put my life at threat, but I would let you know how the drugs are getting in this place, and they didn't want to hear nothing. And then 2 weeks later, I went to go file an appeal on this, and my lawyer got barred from the association, so I couldn't even talk to anybody about it, and then 30 days went past, so I couldn't appeal nothing. Saying, I've never... With the Ashtabula situation, I tried helping. I'm saying they just didn't want the help.
Who was your lawyer in Ashtabula?
Melissa Denisio. And even in court when I went to court originally on March 7th, it was for a plea deal hearing, and they initially offered me 5 years, and I told them that I can't do that. I'm not saying I'm not guilty, but I'm saying that like, my life was threatened, and inside prison system, it's a wild thing, you know what I'm saying? I've been down this long road with so many different people and individuals, and I've had to have my back against the wall and maneuver and do the right thing, and that's all I've been trying to do. And when it happened to Ashtabula, she said they'd come with 3 years plea offer, and said the judge said if I didn't take it, that I'd be getting 11 years.
Which judge?
Your Honor, I can't.
Do you know? Harris?
Thomas Harris, yeah. And I even told them that I would be willing. I can't give you no names of inmates because that puts my life at risk because I've already seen it at Trumbull twice now. I've had people run in my cell with knives, out my sleep with a knife to my neck, saying, if you tell on them, we're going to kill you. I'm saying, I mean, Your Honor, what would any person do? I'm just trying to make it home. I made a mistake when I was young. This situation, I'm taking responsibility for it. I'm willing to do the time for it. I'm just asking to please start the time, to grant me my judicial, and let me go home, make it home to my family. That's all I have to say, Your Honor.
When you were at Lake Erie, what were you doing? What kind of things were you doing?
When I first got there in 2019, you know, I was young. I started playing softball. There wasn't too much programming there. I did a little bit of narcotics and alcohol anonymous classes. I was in a program. It was a janitorial program helping clean the institution. I was an institutional painter, and I even got good time knocked off for that. Unfortunately, there was a computer malfunction where they took off 2 weeks off my sentence. But ever since last year I was eligible, I've been getting 5 good days a month, taking programming. I've been doing anchor control, thinking for a change. I did a 6-month program through OSHA, carpentry, just so that I can, when I do go home, I do have something that I can go home to. I'm certified in carpentry at Lake Erie. There wasn't many programs, but every program that I was eligible for, because of the time I had, I did. Alcohol Anonymous, Money Matters, anger management. I did everything that they offered for my age and my time. I started doing, also on my prison record, there's a couple programs in there that says I started, but I never finished, and one of them was GED, and that was because they took me out of it because I already had a high school diploma and college credits, and the other one was called Topoku, and that's the only person you can change is yourself. The reason I got kicked out of that was because they said my time was too long. It's not, any program that I was in that I was eligible to do, I completed. Those programs, they said I wasn't under the line restrictions to be in them programs.
And do you have any idea why you were relocated to Trumbull?
It's because of this incident, but also on that ticket, it's saying they had to use of force on me, and because of the threat against the officer. When I got my ticket read, when I went to the RIB infraction board and got my ticket read, the CO that was reading the ticket, he even told me, he said, if you didn't threaten the CO or you get a use of force, you would have never got your level up. But I never had a use of force with these COs or threatened them. They did that to prevent Lake Erie from them letting know what I know about Lake Erie, because Your Honor, Lake Erie it's a terrible place. It's the amount of correctional officers in there that are bringing drugs in, the amount of people in there that's getting gang beat up, and everything that goes on there, it's not the place to rehabilitate. But again, I took it out of my time to not fall victim, and I actually did let it help me. You know what I'm saying? It was a long 5 years down there, and I've been at Trumbull now for 15 months, and it's even been harder down there. But I'm still continuing to do what I have to do to become the man, like I said, my family wants me and needs me to be. And again, this situation out of Ashtabula, I've had so many thoughts on it. I've just told them no, but then I don't want my parents to call saying, hey, your son's not coming home, because he didn't want to do something for these dudes that are doing life in prison that don't care. And so I'm admitting guilty for doing something, but I just want you to know that I felt like I had no choice, that take the chance of not getting caught or maybe not making it home to my family, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor.
All right, well, here, why don't